A single word redefined everything for me, not through magic or romance, but with an undeniable intensity. Javier messaged me last night, "Bro, you won't believe what happened today." And honestly, I didn't until the scientific explanation clicked. Ever noticed a lukewarm reaction when you use terms like baby, my life, or princess? It's not the words themselves, but where you're directing them. You're addressing the neocortex, the rational part of her brain, but genuine attraction is rooted elsewhere in the reptilian brain. This primal part, shared even with crocodiles, responds to power and status in women. Not affectionate pet names. Picture this. You're at work and she's passionately defending her idea. Instead of an uninspired, "How cute, you look angry." Truly a cringeworthy response. You simply state you're fierce. Instantly, her demeanor shifts and she perceives you differently. A primal instinct stirs within her. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, true strength doesn't need to shout, but it knows when to use the right word. Today, I'm revealing the forbidden nickname that taps into ancient instincts. This isn't about manipulation. It's about genuine, respectful connection. If this piques your interest, hit subscribe. Remember, words don't merely seduce, they rewire brains. Let's dive in. Here's a secret no one shared about calling a woman baby each time you utter it. You're inadvertently signaling, "Protect me," while it sounds endearing and gentle. Like in those romantic movies where baby makes her melt. In reality, her brain doesn't melt. It activates its maternal mode. What's more, she's likely unconscious of this reaction. Evolutionary neuroscience illuminates this. Using diminutives such as baby, princess, or my life subconsciously triggers associations with protection, care, and nurturing. Essentially, you're placing yourself in the adorable category, not the magnetic one. Being the overly sweet provider is akin to bringing flowers to a job interview. Well-intentioned, but ultimately ineffective for the desired outcome. Consider this scenario. You're conversing with a woman you're interested in. She recounts how she bravely navigated a challenging situation, and you reply, "Oh, how brave, my little baby." That's it, game over. It's akin to asking her to read you a bedtime story and tuck you in. This is where the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius applies. He understood that our language reflects our perception of others. If you perceive her as fragile, your brain inadvertently elevates her, diminishing your own energy, which she will instinctively pick up on. The female reptilian brain inherently evaluates hierarchies, not through conscious thought or calculation, but by simply registering cues like voice, body language, and, crucially, words. What does the term baby convey? Infantilization and a need for protection. In contrast, what does fierce communicate? Power, respect, strength. The former triggers her maternal instincts, while the latter ignites her respect for you. Therefore, it's not merely about sounding impressive, but about employing language that positions you as someone who recognizes power, rather than someone who seeks pampering. As Epictetus wisely stated, freedom is unattainable for those who cannot master their words. You're about to learn how to speak directly to the correct part of the brain. In the upcoming section, you'll discover why fierce transcends a mere impactful word. It's a neurological key that profoundly alters how you are perceived. Are you ready to abandon those saccharine nicknames? Let's advance to the next level. Recall Javier's story when he uttered fierce and everything shifted. That wasn't mere coincidence. It was fundamental neurology at play. Paul MacLean, a neuroscientist from the 1960s, introduced a groundbreaking concept. The human brain comprises 3 evolutionary layers. The most ancient and primal is the reptilian brain. This primitive component governs fundamental drives survival, dominance, reproduction. And yes, it also determines whether it perceives you as a leader or as someone requiring extra attention. This most primitive part of the brain doesn't analyze. It reacts, responding to highly specific cues, posture, tone, and words. This is precisely where the forbidden nickname fierce becomes significant. When you address a woman this way, you activate a primal response. It's a word that conveys, I see your strength and I don't feel threatened by it. I respect it. The power of fierce lies in what it communicates, a recognition of power. It's not simply a compliment, it's an acknowledgement, an inversion of typical expectations. While others resort to trite nicknames, you perceive what most overlook, an elevation of her status. Acknowledging her strength inherently elevates your own. This isn't about contrived seduction. It's about fostering authentic connection. Employing fierce effectively isn't a mere strategy. It's a matter of vision seeing beyond superficial appearances and worn-out phrases. Consider this. If you were a woman and every man called you princess, who would truly stand out? The one who merely conforms, or the one who recognizes you for your accomplishments and inner fortitude rather than your outward presentation? Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "The soul is dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if your thoughts are filled with genuine respect and admiration, your words will inevitably mirror that. This fundamental truth explains why fierce is effective. Its power doesn't reside in the word itself, but in the mental code it embodies. Crucially, you shouldn't use it indiscriminately, like a casual sticker. Instead, reserve it for moments when her energy demands it, when she speaks with passion, or acts with resolute determination. In those instances, fierce transcends a mere nickname and transforms into a potent affirmation. So, what transpires when you affirm the strength of someone whose power is seldom acknowledged in such a profound way? Something ancient, instinctive, and utterly magnetic is ignited. In the following segment, I'll reveal how to completely undermine this effect in under 5 seconds. A spoiler, it involves using the word like an overzealous Instagram coach. You understand that fierce is more than just a word? It's a key. However, like any key, misuse can lock you out, or worse, make you appear like someone merely regurgitating a Twitter thread. Let's get straight to it. 3 critical errors that negate the impact of this nickname and make you sound like a superficial self-help pundit. 3 fatal mistakes. Mistake 1. Using it without genuine context. Nothing undermines authenticity quicker than dropping fierce when there's no actual fierceness to acknowledge. It's like applauding during a moment of silence in a play. If she just mentioned her preference for green tea, it's not the time for a wow. That's so fierce. That's simply awkward and cringeworthy. Mistake 2, overusing it like a verbal crutch. Hello, fierce. How are you, fierce? What a fierce day. No, stop. You're not composing a reggaeton track. The word's power lies in its scarcity. Employ it like a precise sniper, not someone indiscriminately firing compliments. Mistake 3, pairing it with conflicting nicknames. You cannot seamlessly switch between fierce and my life. That's akin to wearing a tie with sandals. It sends jumbled neurological signals. The reptilian brain becomes confused, unsure whether to trigger respect or protection. And in such confusion, it simply disengages. As Epictetus advised, first understand the meaning of your words, then speak. If you intend to use a word that awakens instinctive respect, do so with internal congruence. This isn't a clever ploy. It's a clear way of perceiving the other person. So, here's the ultimate guideline. Don't wield fierce to impress. Use it to recognize. Observe keenly. Listen beyond superficialities, and when you truly perceive it, utter it once with intention. The effectiveness of this approach doesn't stem from the word itself, but from the truth it conveys. And trust me, the other person will perceive that truth. Do you aspire to be someone who genuinely recognizes and affirms without resorting to manipulation? Then you must grasp the underlying meaning of that gaze, that posture, that inner fire. In the upcoming segment, you'll hear Javier's complete story and how this subtle shift revolutionized his relationships permanently. No, He didn't become a guru. He simply learned to see what others overlooked. Javier's transformation. Recall Javier, the man who swapped baby for fierce and feared he'd ruined everything. Spoiler, he didn't ruin it, he rewrote it. Following that initial experiment, Javier started to truly observe. Not actively searching for chances to say fierce, but genuinely recognizing moments when a woman exhibited strength, courage, or determination. When he did, he'd offer it plainly, without embellishment or a dramatic tone, just as simple. That was fierce, brief, authentic, and delivered with respect. The outcomes astounding him. The first instance, a work colleague who typically overlooked him held his gaze for an uncharacteristically long time. The second time, a woman with whom he'd only had superficial conversations began to open up more. And the third, let's just say it evolved into an hours-long discussion during which she confided, "It's the first time someone didn't try to diminish me. Thank you." Javier didn't transform into a Casanova or begin lecturing on social dynamics. What shifted was his energy. He ceased trying to please and instead began to observe with genuine presence. Moving from habitual flattery to intentional recognition. Marcus Aurelius, though unfamiliar with TikTok, would have applauded Javier's actions, as he championed virtue as a way of life. Unwittingly, Javier embodied pure Stoic philosophy, perceiving what others miss and responding with respect, not calculation. For him, fierce evolved into what a word truly should be: a bridge between two realities. Not a manipulative tool to evoke emotions, but a mirror reflecting genuine observation. This transformation proved magnetic, as people instinctively sensed the absence of a hidden agenda, the desire not to mold them, but to truly see them. The change wasn't magical. It was remarkably simple. He stopped speaking to impress and began speaking to connect. And that, my friend, changes everything. So, the next time you witness a spark of fire in someone, resist the urge to smother it with excessive sweetness. Instead, name it, recognize it, and prepare to witness the impact of speaking directly to the appropriate part of the brain. To conclude, I'll offer a Stoic reflection, a concise summary, and a thought-provoking question. Let's begin with the conclusion. Words do more than merely communicate. They activate. Every time you speak, you engage unseen switches within another person's brain, employ the wrong connections, and you can't anticipate a positive response. Today, you've seen how a simple nickname can fundamentally rewire perceptions. Not due to magic, but because it taps into the most ancient aspects of our biology, the inherent need to recognize power, not just receive affection. So consider this: will you continue using baby, hoping for a warm reception? Or will you possess the courage to utter fierce and observe the profound impact when someone feels genuinely seen? This isn't about manipulation. It's about clear observation, honoring strength rather than diminishing it, and abandoning the pursuit of charm in favor of congruence. Marcus Aurelius famously stated, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is perspective, not truth." And today, you've been exposed to a fresh perspective on attraction, respect, and the power of language. Here's a concise summary. Address her as baby and you'll elicit tenderness. Call her fierce and you'll ignite fire. One nurtures, the other kindles. And the choice of activation is yours. If this video prompted a shift in your thinking, I encourage you to subscribe and enable notifications. Yes, it's the standard call to action, but with a specific intention. Here, we don't merely repeat phrases. We learn to speak with impact. Leave a comment. Would you dare to say fierce to someone today? If your answer is no, at least now, you understand why some conversations fall flat while others linger in your thoughts for days. Join me in the next video, where we'll delve into another potent brain trigger residing in your voice, and it's not what you might expect. Until then, remember, the goal isn't just to sound good. It's to communicate with the part of the brain no one else is reaching. Master that and prepare for connections that require no artificial embellishments. We've discussed nicknames, neuroscience, and respect. But now, here's a question few dare to pose. What if the key isn't what you say, but where you're saying it from? Many men believe attraction hinges on looks, wealth, or height. Spoiler, it doesn't. You'll find attractive individuals who exude no magnetism and average-looking guys who carry themselves with an undeniable presence. This isn't ego, it's perception. Your true social magnetism isn't about your physical appearance. It's about how you perceive the other person. Your language, tone, and energy don't originate from your mouth. They stem from your internal perception. If you view a woman as perpetually needing protection, it will be evident. But if you see her as powerful, courageous, and capable, that too will be apparent. And which perception do you think holds greater attraction for her? You're not aiming to dominate her. You're striving to recognize her, and in that recognition, you subtly elevate your own status without uttering a single word. As Epictetus observed, no man is truly free if he cannot control himself. However, here's the modern update for 2025. No man is truly magnetic if he cannot perceive a woman without needing to diminish her. And here lies the profound secret. The words we employ are merely the visible tip of the iceberg. Beneath them lies the filter through which we perceive the world. When that filter shifts, everything you project outwardly undergoes a transformation. Javier didn't alter his hairstyle or acquire new clothing. He changed his gaze, and that fundamentally reshaped his interactions. So, beyond simply deciding whether or not to use fierce, the crucial question today is, are you prepared to perceive differently? To cease seeking mere techniques, and instead, begin observing with genuine authenticity. Because a man's most attractive quality isn't his flawlessly delivered line. It's his capacity to discern what others overlook and articulate it without fear, without embellishment, and without the need to please. In our next video, we'll delve into another neurological factor that alters how you're perceived and known. It has nothing to do with your attire. It concerns how you strategically employ your silence. See you then. Let's dismantle another myth. While we're on a roll, many believe dominance is displayed through loud speech, interruptions, or assertiveness. However, the most potent form of dominance lies in not needing to do any of those things. Genuine dominance doesn't shout, compete, or push. It's felt. Why? Because it originates from internal control, not external volume. And that, my friend, is palpable in every word you utter and every moment of silence you hold. Javier grasped this, not from any book, but through lived experience. He stopped striving to please and simply began owning his presence, shifting from justifying his existence to embodying his posture. And women perceive this difference not merely in what he said, but in how he said it. If you utter fierce while seeking a reaction, it will sound contrived. But if you speak it from your authentic core, it resonates as truth. Consider those films where the most formidable character isn't the one who shouts, but the one who maintains silence, and everyone subtly shifts when they enter a room. Why does this occur? Because authentic presence asserts dominance effortlessly. And profound respect truly begins when you cease actively seeking it. Marcus Aurelius comprehended this, stating that the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Applied to our discussion, the most effective strategy for magnetism is to stop actively trying to be magnetic. This brings us to a crucial new principle. Don't speak until what you're about to say possesses genuine substance. Your language isn't merely composed of words. It's built upon the energy that underpins them. It's the kind of dominance that fosters attraction isn't aggressive. It's calm. It doesn't attempt to control. It inspires trust. It doesn't try to convince. It radiates certainty. Therefore, before you consider what to say to a woman, ask yourself, from what place within me am I speaking? Am I speaking from a desire to please or from a place of self-assured contentment? The most potent voice isn't the loudest. It's the one that communicates more with fewer words. And in the upcoming video, I'll demonstrate how your speaking tone alone can profoundly influence her perception even without uttering a single word. Prepare yourself. If you've followed along this far, you understand it's not simply about nicknames. It's about your perspective and your source of communication. Fierce isn't a mere technique. It's a profound declaration. It doesn't convey, I want to conquer you. It communicates, I recognize you. To someone accustomed to the usual cliches, it's like discovering jazz in a world saturated with commercial jingles. You don't become magnetic by merely repeating. The correct phrase is, you become magnetic when you speak with truth. While Marcus Aurelius didn't have Instagram, his wisdom holds true. The quality of your thoughts shapes the quality of your life. And in this context, the quality of your words dictates the impact you create.